Hey everyone, I'm Riz Mirza, trance channeler, psychic medium, and shaman. And this is the channeling series that I'm bringing to you from Metamystic Podcast. And when we are going to be talking about channeling briefly before we begin, we have to give a moment to really recognizing that channeling is something that we all do in some respect. So channeling is where you step out of the way and allow the flow of the universe to move through you and land without too much control from you. Because there are so many different talents that people have that are not controlled, that really make an impact and land where they are supposed to land, whether you're a painter or you're an athlete or you're a chef, or you could even be an accountant. When something flows through you without you trying to control it too much, you know that there is something greater happening, that you are not the one dictating what is being done. It's almost as if when it's done, you don't even know where it came from. But in this case, when a medium or a channeler channels, we are channeling messages from the spirit guides. In every culture, we have been told that we are not alone, that there are benevolent, loving presences on this other side, some other dimension, some other larger expanded reality. And from that space, these communications, these transmissions come to us. Sometimes they come as a whisper or a nudge or a feeling of guidance coming to turn left or right. And as certain channelers surrender to that even more, then they become professional channelers. They write books and they get on stages and they give talks. So without further ado, thank you for joining me and for being a part of this transmission. And I'm sure and I hope that you find some gems in this channeling for you. I don't know exactly what's going to come through. I have a certain number of spirit guides that are regulars that I channel. I don't know if it's going to be Red Eagle or Phineas or someone else, but let's see. The process is pretty straightforward and simple for me. I go into a very deep state of surrender, and that's the trance state, and they will come through. Thank you. I'll see you at the end of it. I'm Phineas. Do you believe reality is magical? What is your definition of magic? There are those who believe that magic is a performative form of entertainment, that the magicians that are entertaining you upon the stage are in agreement with you, going to perform a series of tricks, as you call them, illusions, very powerfully and impactful experiences for the audience, that you shall be taken to a state of disbelief in how something is achieved visually, that which is being displayed upon the stage surpasses or breaks the laws of physics as you know them. The proverbial tricks of sawing a person in half or levitation. There are many other innovative and creative ways in which these performers titillate and mesmerize the audience. Centuries ago and decades ago, mesmerists took to the stage and performed mind reading. In some cases, these were very intricate tricks played upon an unsuspecting and not a very shrewd audience. As some would say time went on to tell a different story. Amongst those charlatans, entertainers, and performers, those with psychic gifts began to emerge. Magicians were known as stage performers, and the metaphysical, spiritualist, and medium community began to be noticed. They were then presented to audiences, and some of those audiences felt this was trickery, and this is some sort of dark magic, a sorcery of some sort. But what is magic? The belief systems that are set in place and programmed upon you by those who are teaching you, nurturing you, and guiding you, those belief systems become the foundation of your perspective on reality. You begin to compartmentalize experiences in life, such as miracles. That a miracle is something that happens every now and again. They are completely unforeseen. They are unpredictable. And you do not know exactly why they have happened. Were they a mercy upon your soul from a higher power? Or as some observe and skeptically declare that miracles are simply coincidence, an occurrence that happened by chance that you have perceived as being for your benefit. And so as you interact, navigate, and experience life through these foundational beliefs about the nature of reality, you then form a worldview of what you believe to be reality and what you believe to be fantasy. Though you are told that you must achieve your dreams, you are also reprimanded to not be a dreamer. You are somehow supposed to know the difference. Do not dream too big. And do not think so small of yourself either. And so much of your navigation through life teeters between perhaps overconfidence and a lack of any belief in yourself or abilities. And so the notion of magic is relegated to literature, that wizards only exist in stories and stories are not true, that they can only exist in the fantasy world, and certainly fantasies shall never be true. They are simply there to pacify you in this drudgery of life, which is not magical at all. They would like you to believe this. Perhaps they believe that if you believe this, then this will prevent you from disappointment. And yet you find yourselves disappointed anyway. So what disappoints you more? Experiencing whatever you have experienced as magic not being real, or this life that you are experiencing as reality, which they are telling you it is, that disappointment. Which do you prefer? You are disappointed either way. And so, good things, magical things become suspect, and bad news becomes accepted. Outcomes that are not desirable, they are then seen as the way of life, the norm, and the usual, and the cold, hard reality. But they never tell you about the warm and soft reality, do they? Cold, hard reality is reality. Soft, warm fuzziness is fantasy, and therefore, since you have been programmed that fantasy is not real or lasting, you lose faith in the idea of magic completely. It is simply then trickery, tricks performed by an illusionist upon a stage. And yet, when you are there at these magic shows, are you not in some way transformed? Isn't your mood brightened by the show itself? That you walk in with a certain state of being and walk out in another. Entertained, mesmerized, amazed. Feeling fulfilled in some way, perhaps even with hope, admiration for the performer upon the stage. Alas, when you return home, you feel that the magic is no longer there in your own practical life. And you seek it. You gaze upon the children who are clearly in their magic, aren't they? You believe that they have imaginary friends. Perhaps you yourself had imaginary friends. Or were they spirit guides communicating with you? Or simply spirits who have passed on into the other dimension who wish to then communicate with the children. There have been many instances where children have seen relatives who have passed on many years earlier, prior to their own birth, and describe these relatives to their parents. The grandfather in spirit playing with the child. The pets, the dogs, the cats, staring, following that which seems to be invisible to you in the room. They are seeing spirits as well. Are they hallucinating? Are they living in some fantasy world simply because you cannot see the spirit world? And yet you are a spirit, aren't you? There are many who believe that the word spirit simply means enthusiasm. They did it with spirit. It was a spirited affair. We had a spirited good time. Everyone was in high spirits. Many who do not believe in the eternal validity of the soul, who do not believe themselves to be spirits, believe you must have spirit. It is somewhat akin to the analogy of you must pursue your dreams, but do not be a dreamer. You must have ideals, but do not be an idealist. You must be smart, but do not be too smart. And so the limits and the boundaries, the parameters of language, they box you in mentally and spiritually. So are you a spirit or do you have spirit? Are you a soul or do you have soul? If you believe in science, perhaps you will feel that magic is the opposite of science. Or perhaps you feel that your ancestors believed that certain things that they observed were magic and attributed geological and climate occurrences as magic. Perhaps lightning was magic to them, and the scientist then emerged to say that no, it is a natural phenomenon, not a supernatural phenomenon. And you need not have so much emotion about this lightning. We shall not have any of that. It is not magic, it is science. And yet you are able, through your technology, to do very magical things.
to record this visual transmission upon the technology, such as the camera and the lights that are upon the channeler at this moment. You utilize this as a scientific breakthrough, and yet it is quite magical, isn't it, that you are able to take sound, capture it in this hunk of metal and foam that you call a microphone, all of it, by the way, which was made from plants and rocks. The very source material of everything that you are wearing, watching, using in your home, all of it made from plants and rocks. The vehicle you drive, the source material, is plants and rocks. Your rocket ships, your planes, your antennas, the roads you drive upon, the clothes that you're wearing, everything from plants and rocks. You say, well, we have discovered science, and therefore we are able to take these raw materials of the earth and form them into that which we call technology. And casually you might say, well, it is very magical to be able to have a computer and so forth. But again, do not get too excited about it. It is simply science. You shall not say it is magical. It used to be magical. For primitive people, this technology would be magical. But it is not. You may hold your phone and show it to a caveman and say, is there truly a little man inside of this phone? Perhaps the prehistoric man might believe that. Gazing upon a visual television screen in your phone, thinking that there are little people inside, and you would laugh and say, no, no, my dear friend, my good fellow, these are simply projections made from pixels, and begin to try to explain to the primitive man how you were able to create a screen upon which images can be projected from very far away, even other planets. Then you will say, well, that primitive man's capacity and intelligence is not yet developed enough to understand these concepts. Is it possible that there are concepts that your mind at this moment cannot possibly wrap them around? Is it possible that there is information that is beyond your understanding? It is certainly possible, isn't it? Have you not seen magical things? Things that you could not explain? What if the explanation was it is magic? For a scientist might say, it is simply inexplicable because we have not found the proper scientific theory to apply here, or perhaps we do not have the knowledge yet which is scientific based upon physical evidence. And yet, for centuries, there have been many talented mediums who have given very specific information about those who have passed on to the relatives who are still living. It has been done time and time again. Some of you have experienced it. And yet, because some do not have that ability, you believe that all of them must be false. For some of you, perhaps you have even experienced such psychic phenomenon and you have doubted it. Still, even as you have experienced it, you say it could not be. There must be some sort of trickery going on here. Well, what would you do if it was you who began to receive a psychic experience? That perhaps you are watching this transmission in belief of channeling or disbelief in channeling. And both are entertaining you if you do not believe that the channeler is channeling who we are, and you believe it is simply a fraud. That is entertaining for you. And some of you shall write your comments, and that is entertaining for you. Some of you to deride the experience, and some of you to applaud the experience and to feel its impact. And if you were to do that action, whatever it is, then you shall feel better to express your support or to express your disdain. Both fulfill you with a feeling, and therefore you are trying to feel better than you did before. Is that transformative and magical for you? What is magic? We have returned to the top of the program, haven't we? If you say that magic does not exist, that means you have a definition of it. If you believe that magic does not exist, that then implies that you have a definition of it. How can you deny the existence of something you have no definition of? And so take a moment to ask yourself what magic is. Is it science? Well, that would be your perspective. Primitive man might see the computer or the phone that you are watching this video on as magic. You see it as science. What if there is something that is occurring at this moment that might be considered magic? There is. It is the phenomenon of channeling. What proof do we have that channeling is real? For those who are scientifically, and we'll use the term loosely, for the true scientific method does not come from disbelief but inquiry. Enthusiastic, open-minded, non-biased inquiry. Earnest effort in discovering the nature of what one is experiencing that is unusual. That is science. And so, if this channeling that you are watching is an example of magic, let us say that in 100 or 200 or 3 centuries from now, you have developed a highly sensitive camera that can pick up very, very fine frequencies. You have heard metaphysical and spiritual people say that everything is frequency. You are able to look at a molecule, an atom now in certain microscopes that you were never able to do 100 years ago. So imagine 3 centuries from now, you have developed a camera that is pointed at a channeler and you are beginning to see frequencies of the spirit speaking through them. And you perhaps seem to see some energy or color entering into the channeler's body. And perhaps then the energy around them, the frequency shifts, and you say, that is a peculiar anomaly. What is happening here? The medium's voice seems to take on a different cadence, perhaps a different accent, a different manner of being. Are they acting? Well, the science shows that something is occurring on the physical level that our bare eyes cannot perceive. And we are very thankful for this new type of camera focused on the channeler to be able to see this. Now let us go further. 5, 6 centuries from now, 7 centuries from now, 1,000 years from now, that is simply not even the blink of an eye in the vast scope and age of the universe. Is it 1,000 years? Well, let us say that now, 1,000 years from now, you have developed a technology that is pointed at the channeler and you are clearly seeing another spirit entering their body. You see perhaps arms and legs and a face. And then you say, there is something happening here. And that is because you have the technology that you have developed that allows you to see this. And then you will say, perhaps channeling is actually a technique, a scientific technique upon which a human being is able to tap into these dimensions. Yes, quantum physics spoke of these dimensions, the reality of dimensions. And that is what is occurring. And perhaps since we are energy, you see, 1,000 years from now, perhaps you will revere the information that has been passed down through many tens of thousands of years from certain cultures, that the soul continues. And then you will begin to say, we are connecting the dots here. But you see, the question of what is science and what is magic still remains. So again and again, you discover things. You inquire, you are curious to discover more and more truth. And you are in the wonderment of this discovery. And then you shall say, this is science. Is science itself magic? Is science actually magic? Isn't it? You are able to record sound and then to make this sound utterly silent and encase it in cassette, vinyl, compact disc, and digital technology. You're able to save sound into your phone, into your computers. That is quite magical, isn't it? But again, the tug of war between you and science. And yet your nature is magical, isn't it? Is your nature scientific, or is it magical first? Or do you believe that infants are simply unintelligent? And yet they are able to learn complex patterns of speech and movement and many different languages at once, lying in the crib. But you believe that that is all they know. And yet they live in what you call the fantasy world. More and more children are being discovered to be telepathic. More and more children are recalling past incarnations in great detail and have been proven to be accurate if you care enough to do the research yourself. You shall find these cases to be true, and there are many, many of them. Or is magic science? Something is magical and actually it is a science. Or is something actually magic? But you call it a science, for you refuse to believe in magic. And yet you have always wanted to believe in magic. You wish magic were real. If only it were. But who is the authority of that? Who deems something to be magical? Them or you? Are you being robbed of your natural state of being, which is magical? Are you robbing yourself of it? When you begin to make their stories your own, then you are giving up your magic. When you are letting your past traumatic experiences alter, taint your receptivity to the magic happening around you at this very moment, then you are giving away your magic for some sort of science based on fact as you see it. These things happened to me in the past. Therefore, I am not safe to be this or live this way or feel this way. All of them are the same thing. And so you are exchanging, trading in your magic for what you deem to be fact. Perhaps you do not believe that there is magic occurring. Your body would say otherwise. There are many magical processes happening now, infinite number of them, even for you to be able to hear, to see, to taste, to touch, to feel. to transmit, to receive. Again we are here, you shall then battle, but that is science of physical nature. My senses are simply science. And what about your sixth sense? Is that science or magic? There is no such thing as the sixth sense. There have been many who seem to predict the future or feel they are psychic, and they are factually incorrect. That can be true, but there are many who are quite correct. It is a sense that has not been nurtured. The other 5 senses have been. Notice that some of your weakest senses, and most of you, smelling, your sense of smell is usually the weakest. You are not able to discern between hundreds of different types or degrees of smell. With taste you are different, with hearing you are different. And it is because you do not focus very much on smell. It is either something smells good or something smells repulsive. And so, the judgment of what you are smelling then seems to limit your capacity in this area. You can train your senses, but your sixth sense is never trained in most parts of the world. But if you began to train it, if you began to accept it as a truth, then you shall begin to experience it as such. Why should there not be a magical sense? Why have you come here to exist? Is it not for the magic of love and prosperity and abundance and good health? Or do you feel that only science can get you that? But at this point, the definition of science and magic should be blurred enough for you to no longer need those words. Certainly not the word science, or that shall simply be what it is. You shall then solve problems using the scientific approach to have your technologies. But for that to become your worldview, meaning the reality that you experience through the feelings of your heart, your spirit, some feel that they have lost spirit over the last decade, that the world seems to be a much less magical place. And yet more and more souls are choosing to incarnate, to be born here, to live and express themselves, to create, for this earth is a creation school. When you are creating, you feel alive, and when you are not, you feel stagnant, almost as if you are dying. And so you exist to create, and you wish to create magical things, magical health, magical love and relationships and friendships, magical creative projects. You wish to share in this goodwill and vitality. That is your nature. Your nature itself is magical. It pleases you. And many of you have become terrified at the prospect of putting your faith in magic. For some shall tell you not to. How does that make you feel? You have tried everything else. Or do you wish to try harder, some more scientifically, to approach your life? What if you were to approach your life in a more magical way? That you do have spirit guides that are with you, that by quieting your mind, by sitting quietly every day, beginning with 5 to 10 to 20 minutes or 30 minutes a day, would do you good. not to preoccupy yourself with your technology, but to sit quietly, breathing, not to meditate, but to sit quietly and allow your thoughts and your mind to expand, to receive, to reset, to recalibrate, and allow some guidance to be felt outside of yourself, as you would call it. All of you have felt intuitive guidance at times that you have chosen to follow, which led you to some sort of successful feeling, meaning a good feeling. Some of you have ignored intuitive guidance. Something told you to do something or not do something, and you did the opposite, only to say later, I had a feeling I should have done that or not have done that. Even the most hardened skeptic would say that they have had these experiences. Even the most hardened skeptic would say they believe in vibes. The vibes are off here, the vibes are off there. Vibes are referring to vibration. And so it is part of your internal language, the words magic and feeling. I had a feeling. I have a feeling. This is not based upon fear. Let us be very clear here. Your intuition is not based upon fear. Many times your gut can be based upon fear, for your gut can be programmed. You simply have to have a traumatic experience, one that instilled pain or fear within you. Perhaps it was simply the bite from an animal, and then you began to react physically afterwards, even to the thought or the sight of that particular animal that is not even attacking you or nor biting you. And so the same physiological reactions begin to happen simply by the thought of that traumatic experience. And so now your gut is programmed. Even with the animal, their gut is programmed. And animals rely on their gut, don't they? Their innate, their natural born instincts are often incorrect due to their programming. You might have tried to save a stray animal, stray dog. You meant nothing but kindness, but the dog cowered from you or even attacked you, not trusting you. Where was its razor-sharp animal instincts then? None to be found, for they were already programmed by fear. And so your gut reaction is not intuitive. Your intuitive sense, your magical self resides in what you refer to as the third eye, the point between your eyebrows, a good place to focus on in your meditation as opening up. Do not focus on it with tension, relaxing this space between your eyebrows, seeing it as a deep sapphire color opening up into cosmic space. Cosmic space, we are not referring to outer space outside of your planet. It is an inner world, an expansive world where you are sensitive. And your sensitivity, as we have stated to you earlier, is your strength. The more sensitive a telescope is, the further it can see into the farthest reaches of the universe. The more sensitive an artist you are, the better your creations shall be. The more sensitive the builder you are, the more powerful your structures shall be. The nature of reality is magic itself. You might say that magic is your reality. And as you make it your reality, meaning to discover magic, discovering magic simply means that you use your sensitivity to realize certain things. The clothes upon your body right now, imagine how many hands it took to make them. From gathering the source materials out of nature to all of the hands to manufacture, design, market, and sell, to get to you, perhaps hundreds of thousands of souls contributed to the clothes you are wearing, perhaps clothes that you're not even very fond of at the moment. What if you were able to feel all of their creativity, their earnestness to making a living? What if you were able to feel it in the garments, in the clothes you are wearing right now? What about situations that have caused you pain? Was there not a magic hidden deep within them? You call them lessons. If you leave them at simply lessons, you are doing yourself an injustice. For the universe itself is magical, providing for you experiences to, in a sense, fulfill your mission, which is the creation and discovery of yourself. That is why you are here on earth. That is why you exist. The creation and the discovery of yourself. And as you do that, you discover it in others. And as you do that, you then discover oneness. As you discover oneness, you will see the magic of it all. And so, in some of the most painful situations of your life, upon reflection, peaceful reflection, you would be able to find a deeper magic that was transformative for you and perhaps everyone else involved. If you choose not to see it that way, that there is no magic in any painful situation, then you shall then experience life in that vibration over and over again. And that is why surprises or so-called miracles or magical experiences become categorized as random coincidences, happenstance, nothing worth writing home about. And then you wonder why you feel disconnected, that you are generally not very happy, simply tolerating your existence, hoping for the best. Hoping for what? For something magical to happen. It is already. It is occurring right now the more you surrender to it. Reality, my friends, is even more stranger, wilder, and amazing than you could possibly ever imagine. Do yourselves a great service and begin to open up to the omnipresence of magic. And see what happens if you live this way and make it the foundation of your being. You shall not be living in a fantasy. You shall be living the fantasy. You shall not be a dreamer. You shall be living the dream. And you shall not be observing magic. You shall be living it and being it as well. That is the great surrender. I'm Phineas, at your service in friendship. Be well. Thank you for watching. Takes a minute for me to get back and come back and talk to you in this way. I am aware of the depth of what is said. I don't know the details of it. Oftentimes I have to listen back to the channelings myself. It's been 20 years of channeling. There's a lot of videos and recordings to go through. And this is definitely one that I want to hear again and again. Please leave your comments below and ask questions that we can address for Phineas to answer the next time around. And thank you for being here. I'm happy to help you in any way that I can.
All our links are below. You can reach out to us. We offer sessions and retreats and all sorts of experiences that are about that magic that Phineas is talking about. And I'm very honored to be here with you guys. Thank you.